Good evening, family. Welcome back. Another solo episode today. It's just you talk about the discussion that I had with Alex Brashears. Man, so Alex Brashears is a great guest. And I say that about every guest, but I do my best not to bring on not great guests. I don't know if that makes sense, but whatever. So Alex is a great guest, as I said, and she is a professional when it comes to private money. So let's get into a few lessons, the 5 lessons that I pulled away from it. It'll only take about 5 to 10 minutes. So let's do it. First things first. Alex talked about the abundance mindset. The abundance mindset is something that I've heard several times from people who are playing the game on a higher level when it comes to real estate investing or whatever business they're actually in. What abundance mindset I'm realizing is more than just you feeling comfortable with what's happening around you. It's more about you limiting yourself and your belief. Perfect example. I used to say trying, I might, maybe, something I can do, I think I can do it, things of that nature. That was a limiting belief. I didn't have a mindset of abundance. I didn't believe I could perform to hit the abundant mark that I want to hit at the time. I think that's something that we all do quite often, as a matter of fact. We all say, oh, I don't know. That's an abundance mindset issue as well. I have a mentor who says, hey, I'll take any answer, but I don't know. And essentially what he's doing is forcing the person who's listening to step outside of that and to open up the door, to open up themselves to the opportunity to do other things or what the answer might be for whatever the question is. So I think this is the same thing with this abundant mindset. It's more than just being comfortable with sharing things with people. It's more than just being okay with there's a lot of people in the area doing a deal and you feel like if you say something to this person, then you may not ever get a deal. A lot of it has to do with you internally, mentally as well. Those tries, those maybes, those I hope so, or I think so, those things are also part of an abundance mindset. So change your mindset and let's get to the abundance. Number 2, it's all about the investor rollover. Alex talked about this relatively in depth about the investor rollover and what that is. And what investor rollover is basically you are creating that customer service relationship with your investor. When they invest one time and you give them back what you promised, if not more, then it's almost certain they're going to ask you to do it again. The best example I can think of this for those who may not have experienced investor rollover is your favorite restaurant. Let's just say you go to Chick-fil-A all the time. You know Chick-fil-A is going to give you one of two things. You're going to enjoy the food and you're going to get good service. So what happens when you see that line wrapped around Chick-fil-A, you don't think, I'm going to be here forever. You think, I'm going to get through this quick because last time when you were in that line, you did get through it quick. And they gave you the food and the food was great. The order was on point. You didn't have any issues. The same thing comes to real estate investing. You want your investor to come back. How do you establish that? How do you make sure that happens? Is you give them more than they're asking for when it comes to that investor experience. You're going to give them everything you got and then some. And what that causes that rollover, that investor rollover. So every time now you have a deal, you call them and say to them, hey, do you want to invest again? Or do you want me to send you this money back? And most of the time, if they're an investor who's really looking to work with you again, unless they got something else going on, they'll say, hey, roll it over to the next one. I know several real estate investors who have done that, and it's all based on that relationship, that conversation, that customer service that they've established with that particular investor. Number 3, you want to grow and put yourself out there. I'm going to say it again. If you want to grow, then put yourself out there. Alex has several groups that she's a part of. She's got the AWAM group, is the Aspiring Women Achieving More, I believe it is. Yeah, Aspiring Women Achieving More is the name of the group. And you'll see quite a few of them on the podcast coming here soon as well. But the AWAM group, she's got that. She's got the multifamily and more group. She's also got the private investing lessons group. What this tells me is that Alex understands the importance of putting herself out there for people to reach out to. Additionally, she understands the importance of having a presence online. And this is something that you'll see in the podcast. Of course, in my podcast, you'll also see it on my IG and my YouTube. I talk about the marketing and branding thing quite a bit because this is really, really important for us as real estate investors. It's something that we have to be aware of, and not just investors, real estate professionals as a whole. If I was a real estate agent, I'd be focused on Facebook. I'd be focusing on TikTok. I'd be focused on IG. I'd be in those three places specifically. Simply put, it's where everybody is. It's where the customer is. It's where the person who I want to reach out to is. Now, with that said, this is the exact same thing that Alex kind of understood and has established. And because of that, her face is everywhere. Literally a good 20 or 30 people that I've met in the past 3-4 months know Alex Brashears. Not to mention she's from my hometown, so obviously she's going to get herself out there. When it comes to me a little bit more, I'm going to gravitate to somebody who I kind of relate to in that sense. But she has put herself out there, everything out on Front Street. She talks about the private money thing. She does her best to help other people. She helps with other women as well as doing the thing with the multifamily and more. And multifamily and more by itself is a huge thing. It's a huge group of people, and they're all up and down the East Coast and a few other locations as well. So next, we're going to go have a motto linked to your mission. Alex has a motto, and her motto is invest passively to live actively. And it links directly to her mission. And her mission is to find a way for her not to have to work and still be able to do all the great things that she wants to do. Go on adventures with her husband and her family, travel to Timbuktu or wherever it is, hang out in Colorado, whatever it might be. These are the things that she wants to do. I believe that is something that's huge, and I'm realizing it now, even though, yes, I've got a podcast and all these things. But for anyone who is actually doing this content thing or branding and marketing, create a mission. That mission is one of the other key points that you're going to have outside of course, your avatar, who you're targeting, who you're looking to speak to directly. Maybe targeting is a bad word, but who you're looking to speak to directly. The mission is going to drive everything else. Everything. The avatar drives what the message is, how you portray the message. The mission drives the message itself. So you want to have that mission, and having a motto makes it easy for people to understand and relate. Like, I can quote that motto by Alex Brashears' motto like that very easily. And there's several others that I can do the same thing. David Shands, on his podcast, the Social Proof podcast, he says, go out and get you some social proof. It links directly to the mission of the podcast. Putting people out there, putting people in the opportunity to hear those who have the social proof, who are talking to them about their story. It links directly to those. Shout out David Shands, my mentor. Shout out to him. This is something that I think is key, as I've said before. And Alex is really, really clean, really simple, really easy to understand, really easy to remember. And because of that, I think that she sticks in the minds of others when it comes to that private investing or passive investing, because everybody wants to invest passively to live actively. Everybody wants to sit home and be as lazy as you can, and money is still coming into the bank. Yeah. So we'll go to the next one. And the very last one, this is my favorite lesson by far for the entire episode, and that's know your end goal. When it comes to being a real estate professional, if you're investing or if you're an agent, you need to know that end goal. Do you want to double your commissions? Or as an investor, do you want to create cash flow? Alex talked about cash flow versus equity multiple. If you want to get cash flow, you're going to have a certain set of rules. If you want to get equity multiple, you're going to have a certain set of rules. Know what your end goal is. Stick to your end goal. Stick to your rules. Don't deviate a lot from that. Keep at whatever you think that particular piece is. Now, with that said, we're coming up on that 10-minute mark. So I've got to go. But remember, you're better than you were, but you're not half as good as you're going to be. I will see you on the next episode. And please don't miss out. Make sure you go subscribe on the YouTube. And until then, I'll see you guys soon.